I've seen the city obviously grow, incredibly fast. And while it's changed in landscape and it's changed in population, obviously, one thing I don't think has changed is the culture, in that we have always valued multiculturalism and we have always valued diversity. I was fortunate to grow up in a family that was deeply rooted here in San Antonio, and product of a family that was deeply engaged in civic activities and endeavors. So I grew up in a family that was deeply engaged in the community. My mother, who was a big city year supporter, was very passionate about a lot of things and really dove in and worked hard to organize and make a difference in politics and in the arts, and was a huge supporter of the United Way. I had always been involved in politics because of my upbringing and my parents' commitment to service and helping as a volunteer mostly. But politics for me, or public office, was never really a vocation for me. And it wasn't a lifetime career. I didn't run for public office until I was 45 years old. But I'd been well steeped in what it took, I think, to be a public servant. The issue of public education and of education generally, including higher education, is foundational to public service in the state. There is no more important economic development tool, I would always say, than a strong public education system. It really comes down to intellectual capital. And do we have the young people capable of taking the jobs that are being created and filling those opportunities? And that goes back to education. It all goes back to education. It seems obvious, and it is obvious to a lot of people, that there's nothing more important than this commitment to young people. But just because it's obvious doesn't mean that it should be taken for granted. If we just, get complacent and we just expect good things to happen in education, they won't happen. Nothing's automatic. And I just think it's incumbent on all of us to, year in and year out, remember that there is nothing more foundational to our success in the future than to be committed to public education and to supporting our public schools.